What if somebody offered you $34,000 or 28.5 lakh Indian rupees to pack your bags and leave? Leave the country you're now a citizen of. I say now a citizen because you moved to that country a few years ago. But why did you move to that country in the first place? The reason could be any. It could be for better job opportunities and lifestyle, or because you were trying to save yourself from persecution. Since it is a substantial sum of money, especially since you perhaps did not have enough to begin with when you moved in as an immigrant or a refugee, what will you do? Will you pack your bags and leave? At least that's what your host country, which as a citizen you now call your own, wants you to do. Hello and welcome, you're watching The Mint and I'm Abhishek Singh. The country I'm talking about is Sweden, the Scandinavian country which for decades was seen as a humanitarian superpower. That same country which was a beacon of hope for the persecuted now wants you to pack your bags and just leave. Why? And how did things come to such a pass? The short answer to that question is because the Swedes feel those who came in have failed to integrate with the Swedish society.
Whoops! Nej men vad fan!
Hey.
Gå on! Shit!
But whose fault is that? Is it the fault of the people or the authorities who failed to make policies which resulted in better integration? Now that is an important question, but one that does not have a simple answer. As per recent reports, Sweden is planning to boost payments to up to $34,000 to immigrants who leave the nation voluntarily. Currently, immigrants can receive up to 10,000 krona per adult and 5,000 krona per child, with a cap of 40,000 krona per family. Immigrants who voluntarily return to their countries of origin from 2026 would be eligible to receive up to 350,000 Swedish krona or $34,000 now. The government at least is considering that proposal. Some are calling this policy the effect of the anti-immigration Sweden Democrats, which is keeping the Sweden's current right-wing government propped up. It is under this right-wing government Sweden's immigration policy is undergoing a paradigm shift. For the first time in 50 years, the number of people moving in is going to be lesser than the number of people choosing to move out. Sweden's conservative Prime Minister Ulf Kristersson came to power in 2022 with a minority coalition government propped up by the Sweden Democrats, vowing to get tough on immigration and crime.
Whoops! Nej men vad fan!
Hey.
Gå on! Shit!
The Sweden Democrats emerged as the country's second largest party with 20.5% support in that election. And this government decided to deal with integration issues head-on. As during this period, Sweden got the dubious distinction of having the highest rate of gangland killings in Europe over this period, marked by increase in immigration. Now there is some truth to it, as more and more suburbs are being officially classified as specially vulnerable areas where it is hard, bordering on impossible for the police to operate. As per Sweden's immigration minister, Sweden, for the first time in 5 decades, is moving towards negative migration. Integration-related issues led to a change in the attitude of the government and average Swedes. In early August, Migration Minister Maria Malmar said Statistics Sweden, the government's official statistics agency, had found that 5,700 more people had moved out versus the people who'd moved in that period from January to May 2024. The Immigration Minister also said that the trend was expected to continue, adding that the number of asylum applicants had not been as low since 1997. Now, it is not the first time that Sweden has seen a dramatic drop in asylum applications in the recent years. In 2016, 28,939 people applied for asylum in the country, of just over 10.5 million, which is significantly lower from the 162,877 applications in the year before in 2015. Also, as I told you earlier, this drop is being seen as a result of policy changes. The Swedish government started tightening migration policies in 2016. And these lower figures can be attributed to the government's decision to change course. At the end of 2015, the ruling Social Democrats ended Sweden's previously liberal immigration and integration policies, whereby many asylum seekers from crisis-ridden countries such as the former Yugoslavia, Afghanistan, Syria, Iraq and Somalia had been accepted, and significantly tightened migration policies. We told you about Indians and others leaving Sweden in this earlier video, which has clocked 500,000 views. An increased payout is just another policy decision to keep pushing immigrants in that direction. Although the grant has been around since 1984, but it is relatively unknown, it is small and relatively few people use it. Ludwig Aspling of the Sweden Democrats said that recently. Now, I started this video by asking you if you would leave. If your government was going to pay you $34,000, and now is the time to answer that question. Last year, a grand total of 1 person accepted the offer. But the government thinks that's because there is no awareness about the policy. So now the Swedish government doesn't just want to advertise the policy, but also bump up the existing sum to $34,000 to make it more attractive for immigrants. The government believes the sum would most likely appeal to the several 100,000 migrants who were either long-term unemployed, jobless, or whose incomes were so low that they needed state benefits to make ends meet. For decades, Sweden preached to the world to take in immigrants. To its credit, it did so itself as well. Sweden asked its own people to open their hearts for people from across the world, and they did. And Sweden did not stop there. It also asked other countries to do the same. And who can find fault in that? As who would not want people to be able to move freely from their home countries for better job opportunities or to get away from persecution, but only to ask them to pack their bags one fine day and just leave? Is that fair? Could it not have made more efforts to encourage integration? And more importantly, if people don't take up this offer, what will Sweden do? Those are some questions which as of now remain unanswered. What do you think of Sweden's policy? Don't forget to share your thoughts with us in the comment section. I'm Abhishek Singh and you are watching The Mint. Please don't forget to like and share this video and to subscribe.